And you certainly know what time it is. It is PM Express bringing you that continuous assessment of the fallout from the New Patriotic Party's reorganization process, which will culminate in the election of one individual that will take the top spot to become the party's flag bearer and leader going into the 2024 elections. But the drama is far from over, as we know that the New Patriotic Party's attempt to cut down the number from 10 to 5 over the last weekend failed to happen. And it's the reason for which the party ended up having 6 and will now go through another whole process of breaking a tie to get a perfect number of 5, which the party's constitution requires for the ultimate race for the presidential slot of the New Patriotic Party. And that's why we're having this conversation about breaking, not the 8 this time round, but the party super delegates tie, because simply the reason for which we're here today is because of these individuals. Take a look at them very well, because they will be deciding what the perfect 5 will be going into the November 4 race for the New Patriotic Party. Here's a Dynamo one-time contender for that slot of flag bearer for the New Patriotic Party. He's back again in the race, and unfortunately for him, there was a tie, and that was influenced by this man, Boakye Ejako, who once served as energy minister in President Akufo-Addo's administration. But this time round, he's in for the top job. He would have to overturn these figures. He has 9, of course, Dynamo also having 9 votes out of last election, which happened over the last weekend. And they are the reasons for which the party will be running an entire election exercise again. But there's a unique situation and a story that will be unfolding tonight that will give you a sense of what's going to happen and how we'll get to decide who then makes it to the top 5 for the New Patriotic Party. So you have the 2 faces here. Big race indeed it will be, because these are 2 influential individuals within the governing party, well known amongst the grassroots, known amongst the top tier of the party, but the party needs to make a decision on either of them. So let's get to it, because now there's a unique trend about who gets to decide who makes it to the top 5. Initially, there was a figure of about 961 delegates deciding on how to trim down the total of 10 aspirants who wanted to lead the New Patriotic Party. Now that figure has been trimmed down, and unfortunately for the delegates, they tried as much as possible. There was a tie in the end, so they made it 6, making the work much more easier for this class of people. We know that already 4 are safe. That will include Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. We have Kennedy Ejapong, who's in there. There is Alan Kujut Chermating, the former Trades and Industry Minister, and also the former Greek Minister, Dr. Akuto Efrie, who's set for 4. The party says the threshold is 5. Anything beyond 5, they do not want to deal with that. And that's why we're having the race between the 2 individuals. But in a bit to, just cut down the process and to reduce, obviously, the cost involved in running this 961 electoral college again around the country is the reason for which the NPP believes that it has some remit, some, room, giving the party's constitution to make new rules and set the ball rolling for this weekend's breaker in terms of breaking the tie. So here's the first rule, that now only National Council members of the party will decide who would break the tie between Boakye Ejako and Dynamo. So that's the first rule. If you're not part of this group that I'm referring to, the National Council members, you have no business at all worrying your head over who to decide or to choose from these 2 individuals as we go into this weekend's election. That will significantly reduce the number of groups or constituencies within the delegates college, which made the decision over the weekend, because there were as many as 15 groups that made a choice over the last weekend. 14 of them will completely be excluded from the exercise that will take place this weekend, and will have the creme de la creme, if you want to call them as such, of the New Patriotic Party, deciding who then gets to make it to the top 5. And that's because the National Council has also overruled the provisions that barred government appointees from acting as polling agents. So, it's now open, the floodgates open for anyone who wants to support either Boakye Ejako or, a Dynamo going into this weekend's election. So, quite a new set of rules deciding the factor for these two individuals who still believe that they are in the race? Do they even have any influence at all going into, the ultimate, which will be November 4? That's a whole different ball game for us to take a look at. But back in 2014, there's a history for us to pick up some lessons from. Because the individuals that we're talking about here, one of them actually contended with this man that we're looking at. And I'm talking about President Akufo-Addo, who was then candidate back in 2014, also subjected to the same process. He garnered some 80.78 votes. And when the Electoral College was expanded, which will definitely be done for the New Patriotic Party in November 4, where over 200,000 people will decide for the president, he made it through, expanded the vote to over 94% of winning and gaining the trust of delegates before contesting to become president. And he eventually succeeded in 2016. But for Dynamo, he's back in the story as well. And this is what I want us to take a look at. Now, Alan Kojo-Chirmating is here, who's made it to the safe spot of being number 3 in the very last election that was done with the Delegate College of some 961. Now you're having a smaller number deciding the fate of Dynamo this time around, with only 9 votes that they garnered in the last election. In 2014, it appears that his performance was quite significant, because you take a look at the percentage he gained, that was 3.68% in the 2014 contest. And so that simply gave him a soft spot, making him go through and then contesting for the main election, which he lost out on to President Akufo-Addo. Now his showing has not been very much convincing. And you can go on and talk about the likes of Joe Gatti, who was already falling off the cliff because he could not make it to the top 5 or top 6 now that we have for the New Patriotic Party. So he's completely gone. I'll say Amel not in the race this time round. And you can talk of Stephen Asamoah Boateng, who's minding his own business this time round. So let's move on and talk about this gentleman who's featured in 2014. He's a face that is well known within the New Patriotic Party, just as Boakye Jaku is also known, having served in government, having been part of President Akufo-Addo's campaign. This man did not participate. Well, maybe he did that sadly when the Akufo-Addo regime took over the reins of government. He's been complaining about that there's been no showing. He's not participated. He's not been a member of government. Yet he still believes that he's the one to lead the party. 0.91% in 2014. And of course, when the Super Delegates Conference, similar to what happened the last week, was done back in that year again, Boakye Jaku was somewhere around, I'm talking about Dynamo, he was somewhere around 3.68%. That was what gave him the opportunity, but when he went for the main contest, he still lost against the president in 2014. Now for, Boakye Jaku, who is here, 2007 National Delegates Congress, 0.44%. For the special process, we know that it was used once in 2014, and so there would not be a yardstick for us to know what would change, or for us to even do the trend analysis of what will be happening likely if these two individuals meet again. So they've not had the opportunity of meeting in a separate special delegates conference aside the very last one that we've seen, and that's where they are all at par. Each and every member who voted for them voted in equal measure, believing in them that they should be making it to the top 5 for the ultimate decision on November 4 when the party goes for its main contest. So here we have them, two individuals who all claim that they are ready. Take a look at what Dynamo is telling us tonight. He says that, quote, "So far as I am concerned, I'm actually on course for Saturday's runoff, and I'm not stepping down." That's because the idea was thrown around. Why don't you step down? Why don't you make way for one? After all, the two of you may not be in the lead. That's the argument. But they believe that a lot can change when it comes to the November 4 election. Why is that? Because you have over 200,000 more persons who will be deciding what the fate of the New Patriotic Party will be. And that's where they believe issues of vote buying claims, allegations, are not substantiated yet. Of course, when they go into that race, that will all whittle down, because now the grassroots of the party mixed with the special delegates college will now decide and be free to choose who will be the next leader of the party. So Boakye Ejaku is also very firm and confident that, hey, just put me in the top spots, I will make it to the top. And that's why he says, quote, I'm ready for the upcoming runoff scheduled for Saturday, September 2, 2023. It's actually supposed to be November 4. So he's talking about this weekend's election, even ahead of the November 4 that we're all on the lookout for. Same for Adainimo, who is confident not just about the Saturday's elections, but also that of November 4. So these two individuals, party at the crossroads to decide who then makes it to the top 5 for the ultimate decision that the New Patriotic Party would have to make when it comes to getting a perfect 5 to contest the November 4 election, when it comes to breaking the 8 agenda for the New Patriotic Party. But before the party even embarks on that journey of breaking the 8, they have a bigger task, and that will be looking at another special delegates conference and breaking the tie. And that's why we're set to have that analysis here on PM Express. I'm Blessed Sugan. Welcome to the show. We'll be back shortly. Please stay.
Hello, my name is Abeku Agri Santana. If there's anything that makes my life so easy, it is my bank. I love hanging out with my boys at our usual fufu joint. But even without cash, we still dey chop better with EcoBank Mobile. No matter the time of day, my bank helps me stay in touch with my beautiful wife whenever she's away. And when my beautiful wife is in town, she never misses out on her favorite TV shows because I'm able to pay up all my TV subscriptions from the comfort of my mobile phone. Whenever she has to get groceries too, my bank makes it cashless and convenient. And the part my wife loves the most is when my bank makes it possible and easy for her to shop from any part of the world without moving.
Welcome to the smart world of EcoBank. Download EcoBank Mobile from Google Play Store or the App Store and discover the smart way to bank. EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to demonstrate to you the superior properties of Flamingo paint. As compared to other paint brands on the market, we take equal quantities of Flamingo paint and this ordinary paint. We then dilute them with water. And now, let the test begin. The gentleman on the left is going to apply the ordinary paint, and the gentleman on my right will use the Flamingo Superior paint. As you can clearly see, Flamingo has the obvious better hiding. Furthermore, Flamingo has painted a much larger area. You know, 1 bucket of Flamingo paint is equal to several buckets of any other paint brand on the market. Flamingo paint is made with superior formulation to give superior durability, superior hiding, superior coverage. Flamingo paint, simply superior.
Daddy, this tank is big.
Yes, that's true.
It can store a lot of water.
That's so true.
Wow, it has a working tortoise on it.
That's so true.
I can see SINTEX. Syntax.
That is so true, my daughter.
When it falls down, it will spoil.
That's not true.
But why?
Hey! Syntex was the first to introduce double-layer tanks in Ghana. Syntex again was the first to introduce white inner layers in Ghana. Syntex gives you the biggest warranty, 7 years. No matter your water needs, Syntex is the answer. Syntex tank. Are you strong? Are you tough?
My name is Tina. I am a person living with HIV. I got to know my HIV status after I gave birth and lost the child because of HIV. In those days, Prevention of mother-to-child transmission services had low patronage due to fear and stigmatization. Today, many HIV-positive women have delivered negative children. I follow the guidelines and take my HIV medicine called ARVs every day, as prescribed by my doctor. This makes me strong and healthy, and also prevent me from passing HIV onto any future child. Please, avail yourself of PMTCT services when pregnant. It is the only way to ensure you do not pass the HIV onto your baby during birth or pregnancy. If you have tested for HIV recently and it was negative, test again when pregnant. If you have tested positive, go to the hospital after birth as directed by your healthcare provider. Your baby will be given medicine immediately and tested to ensure baby and mother are well. Let us work together to have an HIV-free generation.
Our children must be free to shine.
There are days when you think, whoa, today I've earned it. So order a Glovo. Days when plans run longer. What if we order a Glovo? Or days when you can't control everything. Oh yes, because on Glovo, you can order anything you want. Glovo, you order, we deliver.
Crazy pa. Don't say no to me.
Risky.
Wash. All of a sudden, my voice I hear different. And when you saw a call. Barman, bring me the honey whiskey. You know the one? Black Rock Whiskey.
Honey whiskey.
Chalet, honey near their fro. Black Rock Whiskey is strong. Now so taste me is smooth and it goes down easy. Excuse me. Barman, bring my friend one Black Rock Whiskey.
Black Rock Whiskey, blended with natural honey flavor.
Hey, what's up?
Barman.
Hey, what the hell for Sikanton Sata? The pure Bintomana no. Me the
Black Rock Whiskey. Cabby, the feeling smoothness, no.
Drink responsibly. Not for sale to persons under 18 years of age and not recommended for pregnant women. This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
Daddy, this tank is big.
Yes, that's true.
It can store a lot of water.
That's so true.
Wow, it has a working tortoise on it.
That's so true.
I can see SINTEX. Syntax.
That is so true, my daughter.
Well,
Right now at Wendy's, when you buy either Dave's Single, Spicy Chicken Sandwich, Medium Frosty, or 10-piece nuggets, you can get another for just $1. Your dollar never tasted so good. So it's obvious what everyone will get, right?
Definitely nugs
Spicy
and
chicken
a Frosty.
sandwich,
Dave's Single and a Frosty for
Frosty
me.
and a Frosty.
Okay, who said Frosty and a Frosty? Pick your obvious choice. Choose wisely. Choose Wendy's, buy one, get one for $1.
Limited time only. Price of participation may vary. U.S. Wendy's, valid for item of equal or lesser value. Cannot be combined in a combo or any other offer.
Father, it will spoil.
That's not true.
But why?
Hey! Syntex was the first to introduce double-layer tanks in Ghana. Syntex again was the first to introduce white inner layers in Ghana. Syntex gives you the biggest warranty, 7 years. No matter your water needs, Syntex is the answer. Syntex tank. Are you strong? Are you tough?
Can he tee up someone in red? And it goes to one!
Do like that!
That's who goal is for.
What
After 5 Champions League,
You want to know? I be the real goat, Chairman. I'm the real goat. The left magician.
Who is the goat? Ghana Jollof or Nigerian Jollof?
Ghana Jollof has no co-equal. The smell alone. Oh my God.
No, that shift. You two they lie, eh? Now the same stew when they use cook the rice and then they go put them for top.
Hey, you are lying. Ghana Jollof.
Zaba. And you forget everybody. Yeah.
My guy.
Put some respect on the goat.
On the goat. The only goat I know lives in Tama.
Every year, we dey give to you back.
We are talking about BET. I want some Yadia face.
Except be the goat, huh?
My guy, he be the goat.
Though our choice of goats may differ in football, music, and jollof, Alomo Bitters always brings us together. Alomo, experience greatness in every moment.
Drink responsibly. Not for sale to persons under 18 and recommended to pregnant women. This advert is FDA.
And you're welcome back to PM Express. We're simply looking at the issue of breaking the super delegates tie. The party, the New Patriotic Party, the governing party, says it will have a second round of elections just to decide amongst two individuals, Boache Jako and then Adainimo, who gets to be part of the top 5 spots required constitutionally by the governing party for its presidential primaries in the event that you have more than 5 contesting the elections. And that's why the party is readying itself for that exercise come this weekend. But I need to tell you about those helping us to bring you PM Express. And you need to know about them. Sherry Properties, they are indicating to you tonight that they developed spaces as though they were going to occupy that space themselves. Also, Syntex tanks, they are indicating to you that they have a very strong product that you have to opt for. Lomo Bites experience greatness in every moment, and Ghana AIDS Commission is also on this journey with us. But no matter your water needs, Syntex Tank has it all for you. Now, for Syntex Tank, they are the first to actually introduce the double layer tank, and now you can have as many layers as you always want. You can go for Syntex Tank, which is the first to actually introduce the white inner layer tanks here in Ghana. They are now introducing to you the customer specs order, which lets you to order any color, any size at all, and preference that you have in terms of your ideal type of tank that you want to have. Syntex Tank gives you the longest warranty of 7 years, which no other tank gives you right here in Ghana. So that's the good news coming through from them. So wherever you are, whatever your water consumption size, the project you're doing, or the demand may be, just choose Syntex Tank, and they will definitely be letting you in on all of the types of sizes that you might need for that special project that you want. So they have agents nationwide. Just call them today on 0244 335 168. And you can also do some shopping online. It's at syntexgh.com. And Syntex Tank, strong, yet tough. That's their message to you. But desires, as we know, are wishes. Beauty is a promise of happiness, but passion is actually everything. Just thinking about buying a home now, I'm sure, all you need to do is to talk to those who build it with that passion. And they have the latest Sloan Square, a new gated community which is developing somewhere around Sakumono, and it's developed by Sherry Properties, one of a kind, well-planned luxury city that you've never experienced before. So you can just give them a call right away just to find out more about that gated community. 0553 662 366 0553 662 366. And Sherry Properties, sophistication and class is indeed their hallmark. So let's get to it. Those helping us to do the discussion this evening, Haruna Mohammed is the Deputy General Secretary of the governing New Patriotic Party. He's joining us in studio now. Dr. Asa Asante is a political scientist and a senior lecturer at the University of Ghana. Then we also have one-time national chairperson of the party as well, Dr. Amakuba, and former, of course, aspirant himself, helping us to dissect all of the matters ahead of this weekend's break the tie election, as we're calling it. Let me welcome you, gentlemen, to our show, especially you, Haruna Mohammed, who's joining us after a very long day, I believe. It's been a long day for you.
Yeah, sure.
Let's get to it then, because the party's General Secretary, Justin Kodia Frimpong, has been addressing the press even before you came in studio, outlining what the party's resolution is, the new rules that you're putting across for this new election, and what the rule of the game or the rules of the game will be going into this weekend's exercise. One significant thing we're noticing is that there'll be a significant drop from the 961 thereabout delegates who did the elections last weekend. Do you now have a fine number, a definite number of individuals who will be deciding and voting in this election?
Thank you very much. I will say good evening to you, our cherished viewership, and yourself. Today has been a very busy day for all of us at Council. I had to fly in from Tamale, gone to visit my family, but I had to move back to Accra to attend this all-important meeting of our party. We had a joint National Executive Committee meeting and National Council per the constitution of the New Patriotic Party. It is a National Council that is cloned with the power to decide on or make decisions for the presidential primaries of our party. Today, the National Council had taken decision based on the brief from the Presidential Elections Committee. The Presidential Elections Committee came before the National Council, which was an emergency National Council meeting. They briefed us and informed the Council, which formed the committee to act on his behalf for the conduct of the presidential primaries. We were reported to that 2 leading members and 2 senior members of our party had a tie after the Saturday elections. And we also briefed on several other issues that emanated from that particular elections. A lot of procedures were put before us, and we had to weigh as a council based on cost, based on time, and we had to take a decision at where we are. In taking the decision, we took into consideration Article 10, 1 of the party's constitution.
And you'd care to just read that out?
Yes.
What the provisions are specifically and why you're taking that decision? Because there are some who are already taking you on, I believe, that you're not giving them the opportunity to decide. You're not giving them a fair
first, if you look
field.
at...
So let's see what the stipulations are within
If you look at Article 13.1.9, it says that where there are more than 5 contestants for the nomination, the key word here is contestants. For nomination as the party's presidential candidate, a special electoral college shall cast their vote by secret ballot for the first 5 contestants to be shortlisted.
Okay, so this is Article...
Yes, that is Article 13.1.9.
13.1.9, yes.
That had given cause for a special delegates conference to be conducted.
Which you believe you've crossed.
Yes, so, and the key word here is 5 contestants.
Yes.
After the conduct of the elections, we had 6 contestants because 4 have been cleared, and the 5th and the 5th, because we had 2 5th, and when you add, that is 6 contestants. We are not dealing with numbers like if you're an examiner and then you are marking, you see 5, these persons having 5, you mark them as it is. But this is clear. The Constitution says contestants. So once it is 5 contestants, we can't have 6 contestants. And the National Council, upon hearing this matter, took a decision that is from the party's constitution, Article 10.3.1, where it said, there shall be a National Council which, subject to the decisions of the National Annual Delegates Conference, shall direct the affairs of the party in between meetings of the National Annual Delegates Conference. And for this purpose, may give such directives to the national chairperson as may be considered necessary for the well-being of the party. Well-being of the party underlined. If you also go to Article 18 of our party's constitution, it has also given some powers for rules and regulations to this constitution, where it said There may be separate rules and regulations of the party to supplement the provisions of this constitution. The rules and regulations may provide the guidelines for the operations of the party at all levels. So the committee that was set by the National Council, which is the Presidential Elections Committee, came out with a rule contained in rule number 25 of that particular committee, where it said on issues of tie in the electoral college or runoff. It said...
And this was established, we need to be clear on that, even before the process is, officially kick-started.
Yes,
when you engage all parties, all aspirants, and they're well aware of these rules.
Sure. This was a rule that was established by the Presidential Elections Committee, that in the event that there is a tie, they would go for a runoff. And if you read it, in the event of 2, 3, or 4 contestants sharing the total results with the remaining contestant, not obtaining any vote, there will be a runoff for those who obtain 0 votes to add up to the number to make up to the 5. In the event of a tie between 2 or more candidates for the 5th position, a runoff elections will be conducted for those who will tie on Saturday, September 2nd. The runoff here was very clear. However, it was not indicative of which class of persons will go for the runoff.
Yes, and that's why I was asking you about
this. This was a rule that was set up acting on behalf of the National Council, and today the National Council has set aside that particular rule, which has the power, because it is the National Council's committee, has set aside that one, considering the fact that there is cost involved in running this entire election, looking at the current circumstances that we have or as a state, also looking at some of the delegates to this particular super delegates conference. Some of them are coming from the diaspora, and all these issues has been considered. And the National Council is cloned with that power, as established in Article 10.3.1, that to ensure the well-being of the party, took this decision.
Just to be sure, have you engaged Boache Jaco, have you engaged Adainimo on this very decision? Is this something they are comfortable with going into the elections, that only a few,
before,
Welcome to the Achimota Retail Center, where the first clinic of the EcoBag Joint Use Habitat Fair is taking place. We've transformed this whole place to a one-stop shop for everything housing. Our exhibitors are excited. Our patrons are also happy to be here. Let's interact with some of them. Let's find out from them what they have on offer.
Been invited. I was in Tamale.
Their reps never showed up?
No, we didn't ask for their reps.
Okay.
I'm saying that Boache Jaco, he is a member of National Council. So by virtue of calling for a National Council meeting, he is supposed to be there.
The excuse might be that he's still campaigning. I'm asking if you...
And Adainimo, for him, he has not been invited because he's not a member of National Council.
The point about engaging the two of them,
However, a decision of the National Council today, as we have finished with the decision, will be communicated to them.
Okay, so you haven't engaged them before taking this decision.
Yes,
that's why I was asking that.
This is a party, and the National Council is cloned with that power to take the decision. Whether with consultation or no consultation, the party's National Council is cloned with the power to take the decision and communicate to the party.
Okay, let me go on Zoom. Dr. Asasante is with us. Dr. Makoban is also with us. Let me start off with Dr. Makoban, because you, of course, served within the national executive portfolio of the party.
He contested.
Contested actually at some point. But you're well aware of the workings of the New Patriotic Party, and that's why the question as to the decision being taken now by the council, that's the national,
the second highest
body within the New Patriotic Party, comes to stare everybody in the face. Do you believe that they're taking the right decision, trimming the electoral college down further from the 961 that voted for Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, for Kennedy Ejapon, for Alan Termating, and Dr. Efri Ekutu?
Unfortunately not. It's a great mess. That's what we have on our hands. It is illegal unless one of the gentlemen decides that on his own that he's going to withdraw. Otherwise, we are going to court. That's what's coming. Because you cannot have this great number vote for the others, and then when it comes to the two of them, only one segment of that great number is voted. That means you assume that the propensity of the one group is the same as the propensity of the larger group. How do you know that? And how are you going to determine? Are you going to determine by height? I'm sure there will be some sort of monetary inducement for one to step aside. And let's wait and see. If that happens, it is still not a good thing, but that brings peace. The problem is solved. But if it still happens that nobody wants to step aside, then we have a problem on our hands. We shouldn't talk as if because the National Council is decided, they can do whatever they want. They don't have that power. This is not how democracy runs, that you make ad hoc decisions when they come. No.
You're being referred, you're being referred to Article 10 of the political party and the powers that the council has, and even some other supplementary provisions within your own constitution.
Well, yes, you've been given that power, but it must be spelled out within the constitution. What happens if you have a tie like we have now? And it never occurred to a single person that could happen, for you to make rules for it. And now that it's happened, now you're talking as if on your head, on top of your head, now you're going to make a decision. You don't run democracy this way. No.
Should we not be mindful, Doc, of the cost, for instance, the cost of running a complete exercise again for these individuals?
Well, yes, this should be kept in mind at all times. And this is why the 9 contestants said they should have the voting in the same venue. Cost. Nobody listened to them. You want to go around the country and now you're talking about cost? What is this? If you really cared about cost, you would have listened.
Hello, Doc. Are you still with us? We'll get Dr. Mwakuba there, but obviously his position is known as to what he thinks even about the exercise, the decision for the party just to run a smaller college to decide what the future will be. Doc, unfortunately, we lost the very last few points you were raising there. If you could just take that for us again.
Okay, I'm talking about if we're concerned about money, the cost, then they should have had it in the same venue, because when you have problems, right there it can be resolved. Right? Even this tie, most likely could have been resolved if they called the two gentlemen together right there in the heat of the moment, talk to them, or do something. They're all at the same venue, or maybe they come back tomorrow or whatever and do it and get it. No, you're talking about cost now, and yet the system you pick is more expensive. What is going on here? 9 people said one venue, one said around the country. You go with around the country, then you behave as if it's the delegates who voted. Voting is not done this way.
Right now at Wendy's, when you buy either Dave's Single, Spicy Chicken Sandwich, Medium Frosty, or 10-piece nuggets, you can get another for just $1. Your dollar never tasted so good. So it's obvious what everyone will get, right?
Definitely nugs
Spicy
and
chicken
a frosty.
sandwich,
Dave's Single and a Frosty for me.
And a Frosty.
Okay, who said Frosty and a Frosty? Pick your obvious choice. Choose wisely. Choose Wendy's, buy one, get one for $1.
Limited time only. Price of participation may vary. U.S. Wendy's, valid for item of equal or lesser value. Cannot be combined in a combo or any other offer.
You have to decide which option is better. Then if there's still some differences, that's when you vote. Not the car is in the ditch. One says, okay, let's push it out. You can't push it out. The other says, let's leave it there and walk. You say, let's vote. Which one is both are bad decisions. That's what I'm talking about. So you make the better decision And then if there's still some differences, that's when you put it to the vote. Not just get up and say, okay, how are we going to do that? How are we going to do it? How are they going to do it? If nobody agrees, how are they going to do it? I don't understand it. I can't envisage what is going to happen if none of the two agree to step down. How are you going to, because whatever you decide, somebody is going to vote.
Okay.
Because it is not fair, it's not democratic for the larger body to vote for all the others, and when it comes to two of them, it's just a small body. How do you know one of the candidates doesn't have more support in that small body? And it's easier to bribe people too. That there are so many issues wrong with it. You see, we became as if we are democratic, we write the rules, National Council, this and that, and so they can become dictatorial. No, just because you've been given the power, doesn't mean the processes you are following are constitutional. No, this should not happen. It's not you at any given moment you get up and say, we are going to decide. How are you going to decide? No, constitutionally, it should be spelled out ahead of time. Everybody knows on the same page. That's how you do it. Not you wait until there's a problem, then you say, we're going to decide.
Dr. This is the question to you. If you were the national chairperson of the New Patriotic Party, you have this situation on your hands, what alternatives would you be possibly looking at now?
I would have put it in that if any time there's a tie for the fifth position, we'll have six candidates. Why not? What is the magic between 5 and 6?
You have a constitutional restraint at 5.
Well, that is why we have to change the constitution. See, they have the constitution and they bypass it anytime they want. I wouldn't do that. Let's put it in the constitution that if there is a tie for the 5th position, we'll have 6 candidates. You don't spend any money.
Okay.
Why not? 5 and 6, what's the difference?
Okay, Doc, just stay with us. Dr. Asah-Asante is also joining us, and I'll get to all of your responses. I'm sure that you're noting the concerns being raised here. But Dr. Asah-Asante is also with us, and Dr. Makuma was just raising some concerns about the decision of the party to trim down the numbers. He says it's illegal. That's his view on all of this. The party says it has the mandate to do that.
Yeah, I'm surprised that the party is taking such a decision, but they are saying that it is part of the provision that they have the power to take that decision. I believe that in matters of this nature, it is discussed from the word go, and people become accustomed with the rules of the game. Not midstream, and then you change the game. You change the rules of the game. It becomes something else, and people take it with suspicion. Right. But having said this, well, if that is what the provision says, well, let it not be the case that they want to do that to shortchange somebody else. Then you are creating confusion within the party. The rules must be what? The ground rules must be the same for everybody. And what is, thrown out as the rules of the game, we respect it from the beginning to the end. So why the surprises?
But I mean, these are just 2 individuals who are being shortlisted after all.
Yeah, but it's not. We are not talking about that. We are talking about institutions, and here I'm talking about rules, regulations, procedures that govern the conduct of people, and then the electoral processes. That you can't just change them at your whim. You do that, you cause disaffection within the party, and that is what I'm worried about.
You feel any of the losers may begin to complain or take the party on if anything goes wrong?
Or if they think that what the decision of the National Council, it is not in line with the rules of the game, obviously they will resist that. But let us remember that democracy hinges on rule of law. So anything that you do must conform to the rules of the game. That is all.
The decision of the council now is to strike out the rule that says, okay, you would have 961 persons deciding and doing that, process across the country. Now they've revised the rules. They've spelled out the new electoral college for a fresh election. This is a new election. Do you still consider it as an extension of what transpired over the weekend?
I'm not talking about extension or what. I'm talking about the ground rules. Is it midstream that you are coming out with a new rule? That is what I want to know. Or this rule already exists? If it exists, fine. If it does not, and you are coming out with a new one, then you leave some bad taste in the mouth of people. What is more is what we are also seeing, that, yes, they have annulled that provision that allows now all the government ministers or whatever to be part of the monitoring system or whatever.
Yes.
All these things create all manner of confusion within the party. Is it the case that they have a preferred candidate or what? Elections must be organized in such a way that you don't leave an outer of doubt in the minds of people. Otherwise, it creates all manner of credibility crisis for the party. And going forward, it can even poison the whole electoral atmosphere, and that will undermine the fortunes of the whole beautiful process that they tested. I think that the way they started, they should go gingerly and go according to the rules of the game.
I see. Okay, so Dr. Asante is raising the concern about integrity. Dr. Amakoma is raising the concern about legality. So what's the position and what's the response from the party on this? I'll take the thoughts of Haruna Mohammed, who's the Deputy General Secretary of the NPP. But we'll do that after this break. We're taking a short break. When we get back, we'll get the responses to these key concerns you're all raising, gentlemen. And this is PM Express. We're taking a look at how the NPP intends to break the tie, not the 8. And it's got to do with that upcoming electoral exercise where the NPP will be deciding who gets to, be part of the top 5. And so many questions being raised, first of all, by Dr. Amakoma and also Dr. Asante. Questions about, first of all, legality. That question, you have to address that. The issue about the integrity of the exercise and changing the rules of the game midway. How do you respond to all that?
Okay, thank you very much. With all due respect, I vehemently disagree with the point of legality.
Yeah.
The National Council has not broken any law in our party's constitution. I can understand when you pushed him, he said, yes, they have the power. If they have the power, where lies the illegality? The party has not broken any aspect of this constitution. This is the constitution of the New Patriotic Party. No aspect, no provision of this constitution has been broken. The National Council is the second highest making decision body of the party.
Okay.
What I want, or what I would enjoy them to do, is to make proposals or petition the party for an amendment of this particular
but
provision.
why not be fair to them? 961 individuals, decided their fate in the last election. Now you want a few, just a group of, few individuals to say, oh, we feel this guy should be part of the top 5.
Remember, out
you're
of
not being fair
out
to
of the
them.
961, only 18 is putting us to where we are. 9 plus 9, 18. Out of the 961, it was 955.
Yeah, probably. The others had.
I'm saying that
some
it
other
is
options,
955. Only 18 people brought us to where we are.
Precisely.
And the National Council, those persons involved, the 2 persons involved, knows the powers of National Council. One of them
you're just
one of them.
And I guess that's the fear of Dr. Makoma. You're just bulldozing your way through.
We are not.
And recreating the rules for the purposes of convenience.
This is a corporate body. This is a national party. This is a party that believes in the rule of law. And we are working through this constitution. If you find a lacuna in this constitution, your role as a party member is to petition the party or make proposals for amendment of that particular aspect.
Are you aware that either of the candidates could sue the party, could take on the party on a legal tussle, saying that you're not being fair?
Once we are a corporate institution, we can be sued, and they can be sued. So those sizes are very eminent, whether in regards to this particular elections or not. I am very surprised that Dr. Mwakuba could say we should allow the 6 to go. If the 6 is going, what do you say about Article 1319 of the party's constitution that talks about 5? Why will you allow 6 to go? And that will be the biggest eminent point of illegality.
I mean, what will you lose if 6 individuals just go ahead and
It means that we've thrown this constitution to the dogs, because the constitution says 5 contestants. 5 contestants. So if you go with 6 contestants, we have thrown this constitution to the dogs, and that would be clearly illegal. And that is why the party's National Council so decided to make sure that this particular provision is put in proper perspective by making sure we have considered the cost aspect, we have considered the human aspect, we have considered several aspects.
And you're making all of these points and telling us and your party folks for the very first time, including those who will be going in for that election this weekend. You've not been fair to them, have you? At least some foreknowledge, some engagement ahead of time, telling them that, well, the rules will change.
Look, we have gone past the engagement stage. It is not for me to sit down here and tell you the number of engagements that has gone. For us to finish these elections, there is a tie and nobody has spoken to them. It's not possible. We have gone past that. And the decision to take this on, to fill this lacuna, it is the National Council.
So you believe that you're on the side of the law on this?
Nobody has broken the law. The National Council acted on its powers. With regards to the point of integrity.
Yeah, just do that for me quickly.
With regards to the point of integrity.
Yes.
First of all, the rules that was set by the Presidential Elections Committee was acting on the powers of the National Council. However, these rules were supposed to be approved by the National Council. Well, and these rules had not come to the attention of the National Council, but was used to run the elections. The National Council seizes the power to vary the rules, even in the process of running the elections. So the National Council is not a small body. It is the second highest making decision body apart from council. And it's not made up of just few numbers. It's more than 100. The National Council is more than 100. I'll tell you the composition of National Council, and you appreciate what the National Council... Bocha Jaku is a member of the National Council. He knows the powers and strength of National Council. And I believe that the National Council, to make this particular decision, will not fall fact of the case that that is the right decision that is made by the party. And I heard about short-chaining.
Yes.
Nobody is short-chaining anybody. Nobody is doing it for a particular candidate. We are doing this constitutionally to make sure that the party is...
Right now at Wendy's, when you buy either Dave's Single, Spicy Chicken Sandwich, Medium Frosty, or 10-piece nuggets, you can get another for just $1. Your dollar never tasted so good. So it's obvious what everyone will get, right?
Definitely nugs
Spicy
and
chicken
a Frosty.
sandwich, Dave's Single, and a Frosty for me.
and a Frosty.
Okay, who said Frosty and a Frosty? Pick your obvious choice. Choose wisely. Choose Wendy's buy one, get one for $1.
Limited time only. Price of participation may vary. U.S. Wendy's valid for item of equal or lesser value. Cannot be combined in a combo or any other offer.
Safeguarded. And that is why the Constitution in Article 10.3.1 is very specific for the well-being of the party.
Okay. Dr. Makoba, your questions have been addressed. Are you satisfied now?
Not at all. I'm sorry, Mohammed. I don't think you know a constitutional interpretation. I don't think so at all. When you talk with emphasis, doesn't mean what you are saying is correct.
Yeah, but
the Parliament of Ghana, the Parliament of Ghana has the power to make all laws. It doesn't mean they can make a law and say women cannot vote. You understand? That is what you are saying. National Council has the power, the highest, but so what? There are laws that they have to abide by.
His argument is they have the power to change or vary the rules.
No, they don't. Not all power, not unilaterally. No, it has to be within the framework of the party constitution and the national constitution. That is what he's not looking at. That is not how you interpret the constitution. No, you can't make whatever law you want just because you have the power. No, I said Parliament has the power. They cannot make a law and say women can no longer.
Okay, but Doc, why are we even worried about these two individuals who some, and I'm using that word strictly, some believe will not make any impact even on the outcome of the elections come November 4? Because some argue that at least the race is going to be just amongst a few and not the periphery, if I could use that word.
Well, I agree to some extent, but you never know. We are talking about fairness here, you understand? If the National Council can just bring out their one and decide between these two, why don't they do the same for the whole body and pick one for all of us to save money, you understand? Nobody goes to campaign, just this one is better, that's it. What's the difference? Is it not the same thing? Why are you going through all this process when you have a one that allows you to decide between two people? Why can't you decide among the others two?
I see.
This is not how you do things. You understand? I have a lot of problems with this. It's almost the same when people are elected as NPP officials. They think that they all of a sudden they become constitutional experts, so they get to do what they want. No,
are you an expert?
What we are doing is clearly wrong. I have to say it's wrong. It won't stand if you are not able to one of them to accept it, withdraw. We have problems.
Okay then, Doc.
That's what's going to happen.
Yeah, I get your point now. You want to do something about it very briefly?
Yes, very briefly. Yeah. I don't think that the point of which Doc is picking it to is talking about Parliament cannot. This is not a law. This is a rule. And when you read the party's constitution in Article 18, rules and regulations to this constitution,
why do it now? Why not wait?
The point is that the National Council has the power.
Okay,
it is not because yes, that is it.
Okay, well,
and it's there in the Constitution. It's there, Article 18. You can read it.
Oh, okay, I see that.
The National Council, they can make additional rules. So these are not constitutional provisions, but these are rules that has been made. Okay. And the National Council.
Dr. Asante, 30 seconds for you.
Yes, my worry is that yes, the National Council is clothed with a power to make changes. But if you tell me that also the process, they can truncate the whole process and change the rules of the game, they must be prepared for chaos.
He says they have the power. It's about the power, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, the power appears to me to be almost an unlimited power. And where you see unlimited power is likely to be abused. Where a process has started and midstream, the National Council can come and say, hold on, I am changing it for this direction and all that. What are you going to expect? Chaos, nothing more, nothing less.
Well, we'll see about that. We'll see how all of this will pan out. But it's been a very hectic day for Haruna Mohammed, Deputy General Secretary of the NPP. And grateful to you, Dr. Asante and Dr. Amakuban, for joining us here on PM Express. I'm blessed as we're wrapping up, calling it at night. Unfortunately, of course, we'll have you again, Mr. Mohammed, so we rebut. And, of course, deal with all of the concerns that you want to raise. But that's all we have for you here on PM Express. Thanks for spending some time with us. See you again. Bye-bye.